Subscribe to my YouTube channel, share it with your friends, and comment your thoughts. Aisle 7. The lights in aisle 7 wouldn't stop flickering. Marissa didn't remember walking there. One moment she was restocking allergy meds in the pharmacy section, earbuds in, zoning out to a podcast about a missing college student in Missouri. The next, she was just standing there, right under the humming fluorescent lights between pet food and household cleaners. Palms sweaty, mind blank. She blinked. Once, twice. What the hell? The store was closed. It was 2:38 a.m. The automatic. Doors had been locked since 11, and Wes, the night manager, had clocked out more than an hour ago. It should have been just her and Caleb, the stock associate. But she didn't hear the squeaky wheels of the pallet jack or the crinkling of shrink wrap being peeled from a fresh delivery. Just that flicker. Buzz, 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 buzz. Her fingers were clenched around the box cutter, white-knuckled. Her phone showed. She'd missed 3 minutes, gone, not paused, not skipped, just gone. The audio had resumed right in the middle of someone screaming, and that's when she realized the screaming wasn't in the podcast. It was faint, distant. Somewhere between the aisles, Marissa pulled one earbud out, listened. Silence. No. Dripping. Somewhere nearby, something was dripping steadily. A thick, wet sound. She took a cautious step forward, her sneakers squeaking slightly against the waxed linoleum. That's when she saw them, footprints, bare, large, glistening. Whatever had made them had been wet, sticky. Blood. She knelt down instinctively, touched the edge of one print with her fingertip. It was warm, her stomach flipped. But what chilled her more wasn't the trail itself. It was how it moved. The prints didn't go in a straight line. They circled, around and around, looping near the end of the aisle, doubling back toward where she was standing, like someone had been pacing, waiting. And the last print, it stopped just inches behind her. She whipped around. No one. But the light above her gave one last sputtering buzz and blew out. In the split-second flash before darkness, she swore she saw the outline of a tall figure at the far end of the aisle. Then the overhead PA crackled, "Clean up," in aisle 7. But the voice wasn't synthetic. It gurgled, like someone speaking underwater, drenched and breathless. The final syllable ended in a noise that wasn't static. It was laughter. Marissa backed away, her pulse screaming under. Her skin, her hand flew to the walkie clip to her belt. She pressed the button. Caleb, this isn't funny. If this is a prank, I swear. Click. The walkie replied with a burst of static, and then, in a voice almost like her own, "You're bleeding." She looked down. Her palms were slick with blood. Thin, perfect slices ran along her fingers. Paper cuts. No, blade cuts. But she hadn't felt anything. No pain, no sensation, and yet they were bleeding fast. Her mouth opened, but nothing came out. Drip. The ceiling above her was oozing red. Drip by drip it landed at her feet, forming a widening pool. That's when the lights died. All of them. The hum of the refrigeration units in the back stopped, the fans, the music, everything, just blackness. Marissa stumbled backward, one hand outstretched. Her phone flashlight wouldn't turn on. Dead. She hadn't even touched it. Then came the sound again. Footsteps, but not walking, running, fast, bare feet slapping against the tiles. Closer, closer, she ran. Through the aisle, past displays of bleach. And trash bags, heart hammering in her throat. Her foot caught on something soft. A mop? A body? She didn't look down. She sprinted past the electronics section, through the home decor aisle, past the seasonal shelves filled with plastic pumpkins and fake cobwebs. Her shoulder slammed into the break room door. She shoved it open and threw herself inside, flipping the lock. Silence. The emergency lights kicked on, dim, red, like blood trapped behind frosted glass. Her hands shook as she pressed against the cold metal of the door, her breath shallow and sharp, A sound behind her made her freeze, paper rustling. On the break room table, a single sheet of printer paper lay flat. It hadn't been there when she'd clocked in. On it, in thick red ink, was her name, Marissa, underneath in a childlike scrawl. You saw it. Now you're part of it. Her legs buckled. She gripped the edge of the table to steady herself. No, she whispered. No, this isn't happening. Something began tapping at the door. Tap, 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 not knocking, tapping like nails or claws. She crept closer to the door and looked through the small reinforced glass window. Nothing. Just the hallway. Then, movement. Shadow crawled across the floor, but there was no figure casting it. Her walkie crackled again. Let me in. It was Caleb's voice. She hesitated, moved her hand toward the lock. I forgot my key. Come on, Marissa. She stared at the walkie. No, she said. You're not Caleb, the voice laughed. Did you figure it out? Her chest was tight. She backed away from the door. Then a whisper. This time not from the walkie. From behind. Her from the vents. Clean up. Clean up. Everybody, everywhere. A nursery rhyme. Soft, mocking. She turned toward the ceiling vent. The grate was loose, slightly ajar. Her phone buzzed in her pocket. A notification. She pulled it out. A photo. Of VA. Her standing in aisle 7, face blank. Eyes rolled back, mouth open mid-scream. But the timestamp wasn't from earlier. It was from 3 minutes in the future. She dropped the phone. Her ears began to ring. Her vision blurred. The red emergency light blinked once, twice, and then the sugar handle turned, slow, steady. The lock clicked open. She hadn't touched it. Her voice trembled. No, 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 no. The door creaked open. Nothing, just darkness. Then something crawled in, on the ceiling. She looked up. It was Caleb, or what was left of him. His limbs bent backward, his eyes milky, skin pale and soaked in something thick and black. He was grinning. You're on the schedule now, Marissa screamed. Darkness swallowed her whole. The overnight shift. Marissa woke up in a shopping cart. Her back ached, twisted over the cold steel frame, and her hands were bound. At the wrists with zip ties, tight enough to cut off circulation. Her face was sticky. Dried blood crusted at the corners of her mouth. The overhead lights had returned, cold and sterile, humming like normal. Was it morning? No. No daylight bled in through the high, sealed windows. The target was still. Closed, still locked, still wrong. She sat up fast, ignoring the pain slicing down her spine. The cart wobbled slightly beneath her, parked at the far end of Seasonal. The same aisle they were setting up Halloween displays in earlier that week. Plastic skeletons stared down at her with hollow eyes. A fake gravestone read, R.I.P. Retail. Is hell, Marissa laughed. A dry, bitter sound. It didn't feel like her own. Then she remembered the voice on the walkie, the blood. Caleb on the ceiling, bent backwards like a rag doll. She looked around. No one, just silence. And then, the faintest sound. Help! It came from behind the aisle, soft, raspy, human. She climbed out of the cart, hands still bound. Her knees buckled. She caught herself on a nearby shelf. Boxes of candy corn spilled at her feet. She followed the sound, down past the toy section, past the dressing rooms. The voice kept calling, help, please. It led her to the employee-only hallway, where the break room, manager's office, and security doors were. The lights here buzzed like angry insects. One flickered violently, throwing shadows in every direction. She pressed her ear to the brake. Room door, nothing. Tried the handle. It opened with a soft click, empty, except a trail of bloody fingerprints across the floor, smearing toward the back wall. She followed them, to the lockers. One of them was half open. Inside, jammed into the tiny space, was Caleb. Alive. Barely. His eyes were wide, blood smeared across his cheeks. His lips were moving, but no sound came out. He trembled as she stepped forward. She reached out. It's okay. she whispered. "I'm here." He mouthed something. "Don't open it." But it was too late. The locker slammed shut on its not enough to shake the whole wall. Her scream stuck in her throat. "Caleb," she shouted. "No, no!" She grabbed the handle, pulled, yanked. It wouldn't budge. From inside, she heard the worst sound she'd ever heard in her life. The sound of bones cracking one at a time, like someone wringing out a wet towel. Then, silence. She fell backward, heart hammering, hands shaking. Footsteps echoed behind her, slow, heavy. She turned. A tall figure stood at the end of the hall. Not Caleb, not Wes. Something else. It wore a red Target uniform shirt, crisp, spotless. Its name tag read, Tom. But its face wasn't human. No eyes, just holes. No mouth, just a stitched line like someone had sewn it shut. Skin pale and waxy, like a mannequin left in the sun too long. It lifted one finger, pointed at her, then it tilted its head unnaturally until the bones cracked. "You clocked in," it rasped, and then it charged. She ran, down the hall, skidding, around the corner, nearly slamming into the time clock station. She ducked into the storage room and slammed the door, locked it, fell to the ground, breathless. The red light from the exit sign bathed the room in dim glow. Then she saw the walls, covered in employee name tags, each one pinned carefully in a grid. Names she didn't recognize, names that shouldn't be here. Taylor, last shift, 12:15:22. Lewis, last shift, 3:01:23. Kimberly, last shift, 5:03:23. Caleb, last shift, today. Her fingers trembled as she reached for her own name tag. She wasn't wearing it anymore. It was on the wall, already pinned. Marissa. Last shift, today. "No," she whispered. "This isn't real. This isn't—" The lights flickered. From the corner of the room, she saw something move. A man, crouched in the shadows. Thin, pale, dressed in a custodian's uniform from a decade ago. His eyes were hollow. His jaw unhinged. She backed away. Slowly, he pointed behind her, a mirror, one of the older security mirrors they used to mount on corners. She didn't even know it was there, but something was moving inside it, not her reflection, something behind her. She turned. Nothing. Then the mirror whispered, "You're on the schedule. Forever." The glass shattered, spraying across the room. She screamed and ducked, arms over her head. When she looked up, the man was gone. She crawled to the door, unlocked it, slipped into the hallway, and froze. The store was wrong. The shelves were warped. The aisles no longer made sense. The lights glowed a strange orange. And overhead, the PA system clicked on again. "Clean up in aisle 7. Clean up in aisle 7. Clean up in aisle 7. Over and over and over." She staggered forward. The world felt sideways, like gravity had shifted just slightly, enough to make you feel like you were falling but never landing. Then she saw someone, at the end of the aisle, a woman wearing the same red shirt, shoulder-length black hair, slender. Marissa blinked. It was her, herself. Same posture, same cut on the left cheek. The double didn't move, just stared. Marissa took a step forward. "What are you?" The double tilted its head and smiled. Not with its mouth, with its eyes. Then it whispered, "Your shift isn't over," and vanished. Into the shelves. Marissa collapsed. Her knees hit the tile. Her body shook. Something cracked inside her chest. A sob escaped. She wanted to go home. She wanted out. That's when the lights dimmed, and the store began to play music. The same nursery rhyme from earlier. Clean up, everybody, everywhere." It echoed through every speaker, distorted, low-pitched, wrong. She crawled toward the front, toward the automatic doors. They were wide open, outside. Escape. She bolted, out through the doors, but the parking lot wasn't there. Just more Target, endless store. After store, each one flickering, each one identical, each one filled with someone screaming. She dropped to her knees. It wasn't a store anymore. It was a trap, a loop, a purgatory. The PA crackled one last time. "Welcome to your final shift, Marissa. We hope you'll stay forever." The woman in the camera aisle. "Stop rewinding the security footage," Daryl said, dragging the last word out like he was tired of hearing himself talk. "She's not there. I already checked." Shelby didn't look away from the screen. Her fingers hovered just above the keyboard, frozen in hesitation. There she was again, a tall woman in a long white coat, standing in camera aisle 3, next to the clearance rack. Her face was always just slightly turned, like she knew where the lens was and how to avoid it. Shelby hit pause. "Tell me you don't see her," she said. Daryl leaned in, squinted, sighed. "Jesus. Fine. Maybe she's there, but we don't sell coats like that." He wasn't wrong. The coat was outdated, something from the 90s, wide-shouldered, hem dragging the floor, like something a doctor or mortician might wear. The image was grainy, static, twitching at the edges. Shelby played it again. 4:48 p.m. Tuesday, quiet shift. The woman walked into the frame from the left, turned her head slightly, then vanished. Not walked out. Not moved behind a shelf, just gone, frame by frame. 1 second she was there, the next she wasn't. Shelby pushed away from the monitor. "Can't be a glitch. That's not how they look." "Maybe she was a customer," Daryl offered. "Didn't. Check out. Left something. Happens all the time." But Shelby shook her head. Her stomach had already twisted into knots, and she couldn't explain why. "She's not right." She didn't know how else to say it. That was 2 days ago. The next night Shelby returned for her usual closing shift. And PM sharp, as she clocked in, she noticed something strange. All the cameras had been switched to manual record only. The screen that showed camera aisle 3 was completely dark. She frowned. Hit the feed reset. Nothing. Then she noticed the door to the tech stockroom was open. Nobody should have been back there, not at that hour. She grabbed the flashlight from the wall and headed in. The tech stockroom was dead quiet, shelves filled. With TVs, old display tablets, unsold drones. A cold draft brushed against her shoulder. She turned. The back wall, usually cluttered with boxes, had been cleared, exposing a mirror. She didn't even know there was a mirror there. Someone had written on it in red, no, not red, brown, a smudge. A finger dragged across the surface. One word, return. Her hand shook. She turned to leave and saw her own face on one of the TV monitors. Only it wasn't now. It was her, 2 nights ago, watching the security feed, rewinding the woman in the coat. She stepped closer. The screen froze on the woman's face, finally fully visible. No eyes, just empty sockets, blood pouring out of her nose. Mouth sewn shut with thick black thread. Shelby screamed, and all the monitors crackled to life at once, displaying the same image, herself, dead. She staggered backward, tripping over an empty crate, landed hard. A voice came from the back of the room, a low, crackling whisper. "Return it. Return what isn't yours. Return what was recorded." The flashlight flickered. She swung it around. No one there. But the mirror. Her reflection smiled. She wasn't smiling. The lights blew out. Shelby ran all the way to the front of the store. The automatic doors stayed shut. She slammed into them, breath fogging the glass. Outside, she could see the empty parking lot. Her car. Just 30 feet away. But the doors wouldn't move. Behind her, the lights in the aisles started to turn off one by one, like someone walking toward her in the dark. She ran back into the security room, locked the door, checked the monitors again. Camera. Aisle 3 was working now. The woman was standing in it again, but this time she was looking straight at the camera. Shelby hit the intercom switch. "If this is a prank," she said, "you win. I'm not playing." The woman smiled, her lips ripped open, blood trickling down her chin, revealing a row of shattered glass in place of teeth. Then she pointed up. Shelby froze. Above her, a faint scratching sound, coming from the ceiling vent. She looked up, just in. Time to see a hand, pale and long-fingered, slip through the metal grate. It reached toward her. Flexing. She bolted from the room, ran past toys, past housewares, until she stopped dead in front of camera aisle 3. The lights here were on. The rest of the store had gone dark behind her. She stepped forward. The temperature dropped instantly. She could see her breath. Down at the end of the aisle, the clearance rack sat perfectly undisturbed, except for one thing, a long white coat hanging alone. She walked toward it, drawn like gravity. As she reached out, the coat fell off the hook, onto the ground, and from underneath it, a VHS tape slid. Into view, old, unlabeled. She picked it up with trembling hands, then a whisper, "Return it." Shelby left the coat, ran to the manager's office. There was an old TV VCR combo in storage, one nobody had used in years. She slid the tape in. Snow, then images, static cracked footage of the store from 15 years ago. It was the same layout, same. Red tiles, the camera panned down aisle 3, the same woman in white, only this time it was real footage. She wasn't a ghost, she was alive. Shelby leaned closer. She watched the woman confront a younger employee. A girl no older than 20, clearly scared. The woman screamed something, silent through the feed. The employee pushed her. She fell, hit her head on a shelf corner, didn't move. Blood pooled across the floor. The employee ran. Then a man stepped into frame. An older manager. He looked at the camera, then down at the body. He made a decision. He dragged the woman's body away, out of frame. Shelby watched in horror as the feed cut to static. Then a new image, the woman's body being wheeled away on a flatbed cart, the kind they used to stock large TVs. A sheet was thrown over her. She wasn't moving. The time code stamped across the bottom read Enov 17, 2009, 9:52 p.m. Shelby ejected the tape. She understood now. Someone had buried this. Someone in management covered it up, and the woman. She hadn't left. She'd been caught in the cameras ever since. Shelby turned to grab her phone, but the screen glitched. It was showing the live feed again, of herself. Standing in the office, the coat behind her. She spun. It was hanging on the coat hook now, right there. Her hands shook. The whisper came again. "Return what was recorded." And suddenly she understood. The camera. It had taken something from the woman. Her image. Her soul. She had died in its gaze. Shelby grabbed the tape. She ran back to the stockroom, to the mirror. She placed the tape in front of it. The mirror rippled like water. The reflection shimmered. The woman stepped out, whole now, face restored, eyes sad. She looked at Shelby, whispered, "Thank you," then disappeared. Gone. The lights flickered, came back on. The hum of the HVAC system returned. The store felt normal again. Shelby checked her phone. It was 5:55 a.m., time for opening. She looked at the mirror one last time. Her own reflection stared. Back alone, safe. Shelby quit the next day. No 2-week notice, no explanation. But before she left, she removed the camera from aisle 3. It sits on her desk now, unplugged. But sometimes, when she passes it, she swears she can hear it clicking, like it's still recording. Do not go in the dressing room after 9 p.m. Target employees swap stories like old legends, urban myths soaked in fluorescent lights and red polos. Some talk about weird voices, over the intercom, others about mannequins that move on their own, but the one that stuck, the one that made new hires listen, was this. Don't go in the women's dressing rooms after 9 p.m. Ever. Ash didn't believe it until she made the mistake of closing alone. It was a Tuesday night, and the store was empty. Ash was just trying to finish her last task, folding abandoned clothes in the women's fitting room area, when she saw door 7 slightly ajar. They were supposed to all be open at closing. She knocked gently. "Hello?" No answer. She checked the tablet. the scan system that showed if a room was in use. All clear. She pushed the door open, empty, except on the hook inside was a single red dress. Velvet, deep crimson, clearly not target stock. She frowned, looked at the tag. It was hand-stitched. The label read, "For her." Ash felt a chill run down her spine. She left the dress on the hook and backed out. 7 p.m. She went back to the front to grab her bag, but when she passed the fitting rooms again, door 7 was closed, tightly. The dress was gone. Ash stopped, looked. At the tablet again. Room 7 was now marked. In use. She hadn't scanned anyone in. She hadn't seen anyone enter. Suddenly, the overhead lights flickered. Then a soft knock. From inside the dressing room. She turned and ran to the security station. She buzzed Darius, the night manager, on the walkie. He answered on the second try. "What's up?" Ash was breathing hard. "Someone's in dressing room 7. They weren't scanned in. There's something weird going on." Pause. Then, in a low voice, Darius said, "Back away. Don't touch the door. Don't talk to it. And for God's sake, don't answer if it calls your name." Ash blinked. "Wait, what? Are you messing with me?" "No, I'm not. Lock yourself in the break room. I'll be there in 10. Click. Silence. She didn't make it to the break room because as she passed the dressing rooms again, she heard her own voice coming from inside room 7. "Ash, can you help me? I'm stuck in the mirror." She froze. The voice was identical to hers. Same tone, same softness. But there was something else in it. A crackle, like it was pushing through a bad signal. She stepped closer, then caught her reflection in the full-length mirror opposite the door. It wasn't moving in sync. Her own face, smiling. Ash wasn't smiling. Her reflection lifted a finger, pointed at the door. "Help me, Ash, I need to get out." Ash backed away, trembling. She turned to run and collided with Darius. He grabbed her shoulders. "Did you talk to it?" "No," she said, breathless, "but it talked to me." He looked past her at the door. "Shit. What the hell is going on?" she whispered. Darius didn't answer right away. He pulled something from his pocket. A small mirror shard on a chain. He pressed it into her hand. "Keep this on you. Don't look into any mirrors tonight. And don't follow her if she calls." Ash stared at him. "Who is she?" He finally spoke. "We don't know her name, but she's not alive." Darius explained everything while they sat in the break room with the lights on full. "She appears after 9 p.m., he said. "Only in room 7, same time, same pattern. She leaves a red dress, one that doesn't belong to us. Then she waits." "For what?" "For someone to put it on." Ash's blood turned cold. He continued, 2 years ago, an employee named Nina found the dress, thought it was lost merch, put it on for fun. 5 minutes later, she was gone." "Gone?" "I was here. I saw it. She stepped in front of the mirror and never came. Out of it, we replayed the footage. One frame she's there, next it's just the dress on the floor." Ash couldn't breathe. "They found fingerprints inside the mirror," he whispered. "On the glass, but from the inside." 11:17 p.m. Ash was getting ready to leave. She'd stuffed the mirror charm in her pocket. Darius warned her not to remove it. "I'll walk you out," he said. But when they reached the dressing room hallway, the red dress was hanging on the outside of room 7 now, waiting. The door slowly creaked open. No one inside, just a whisper. "Come see how it looks on you." Ash backed away, but Darius, he looked dazed, stepped forward. "Ash," he said. Only it. Wasn't his voice. It was hers again, coming from his mouth. "Don't you want to see what you could be?" Ash grabbed his arm, but he twisted violently, face contorting. His eyes went black. "She's already wearing your skin." Ash ran. She didn't stop until she was in the parking lot, only to find her car door was wide open. Someone had rummaged through it. Her rearview mirror was missing. In its place, on the passenger seat, was a folded red dress. This time, the tag didn't say, "For her." It said, "For you." She left the car, called, A ride didn't look back. She never returned to work. A week later, her roommate asked her something strange. "You bought a new dress?" Ash looked confused. "No." "Yeah, you did. Red one. I saw it hanging in your closet." Ash's skin went cold. She ran to her room. There it was, velvet, deep crimson. Tag still attached. This one said, "You already said yes." She burned it, or at least she tried. But as the fire consumed it, the flames flickered, and for just a moment, she saw herself in the smoke, wearing the dress, smiling, not blinking. That night, her bedroom mirror cracked on its own, just once, like something inside had banged to get out. We found her in the stockroom, but she'd been dead a week. Target's overnight shifts are supposed to be quiet, just boxes, scanning, folding, restocking. But the overnight team at store number 1116 in Temecula, California, stopped talking about one shift altogether, the night they found Lindsay Walker, smiling, in the break room. Even though she'd been reported missing for a week, even though her body was already found and buried. The night started normal. Rico clocked in at 11:02 p.m., half asleep and nursing a rock star. Marcy was already scanning inbound inventory in the back room, headphones in as usual. The only odd thing was the break room light. It was on, even though no one should have been in there yet. Probably cleaning crew, Rico muttered. He was wrong. 38 a.m. Marcy came back from the bathroom and said, "Rico, did you see Lindsay's here?" He blinked. "What? Lindsay?" "From electronics. She's back. I saw her in the break room." Rico dropped his scanner. "That's not funny." "I'm serious. She's dead." Marcy rolled her eyes. "You're an asshole." "She's not. Dead. She said she just needed time off." Rico's stomach dropped. "What did she say exactly?" Marcy thought for a second. "Just needed time to breathe again, still catching up." She looked tired, pale, but smiling. Rico didn't answer. He just got up and walked toward the break room. The break room was empty, except for a faint smell like old bleach and roses. He checked the cameras. The feed glitched as he rewound. One moment, the room was empty. Then it blinked, and Lindsay was sitting there, not walking in, no opening of the door, just suddenly there, smiling at the camera. Rico didn't believe in ghosts, but he did believe in one thing. Lindsay had been missing for 7 days, and 2 nights ago, the cops confirmed it. Her body was found 2 towns over, in an abandoned house near the train tracks. Cause of death? Unknown. No forced entry, no blood, just a smile on her face, and now she was here, at Target. 4 a.m. The lights in the back room flickered, then they went out. Emergency power kicked in. Dim red glow. Marcy's voice buzzed over. "The walkie! Rico, come quick, electronics, something's not right." He ran. When he got there, Marcy was standing frozen, eyes wide. The TVs, the whole wall of flat screens, were all on, playing the same thing. Lindsay, smiling. In her Target uniform, she was waving, over and over. Marcy whispered. She said she was trying to remember who she was before the store. Before Rico could speak, the TVs flickered and the screen went dark, just for a moment. Then they all lit up with words in red. "I never clocked out." Rico and Marcy locked themselves in the security office. They called the store manager, left a message, tried the cops. Busy signal. The store phone rang once, twice. Rico answered. Silence, then a voice, dry and slow. "You all left me in the returns bin." I waited. "Now I'm processing you." Click, the screen in the office blinked. A new feed had appeared. Camera 19, there was no camera 19. The label read, "Under stockroom." The image was grainy. It showed someone standing in a dark room, facing a wall, head tilted. Long black hair, still Target vest. Lindsay. They didn't know what the stockroom was, until Marcy remembered the old Halloween storage used. Once years ago, never cleaned out, no cameras, no lights. Located behind the seasonal aisle, they'd sealed it off, or so they thought. Rico said, "We're leaving. Now." Marcy hesitated. What if she needs help? Rico looked at her like she was insane. "She's dead, Marcy." But what if she doesn't know? The walkie crackled. Then came Lindsay's voice. Soft, hopeful. "Do you remember the night shift? Pizza parties. You said we'd be friends forever. You lied." The screen in the office flickered again, this time showing a live feed of Marcy in the chair, except she wasn't moving, and her eyes were rolled back. Rico turned to her. She was still, silent, whispering something. He leaned in, her lips were repeating, "Clock me out. Clock me out, clock me out." Then she smiled, same smile as Lindsay. Rico ran. He tried to leave through the emergency exit near the stockroom. Alarm wouldn't trigger. Doors wouldn't budge. He ran to the front. Glass doors refused to open. Something had locked them in. And then he heard the intercom chime, that soft ding every employee hears hundreds of times a shift, followed by, "Rico, you have a return waiting in guest services. Rico, please process it." The intercom wasn't connected to names, only to roles. There was no way the voice should have known who he was. He grabbed the crowbar from under the front register, marched to guest services, ready to swing. But when he got there, on the counter, was a target name badge. Covered in dust bent the name, Lindsay W. Under it was a folded note. "I gave this place my life. All I got back was a smile no one believed. I'm still waiting for someone to ask me who I was before I was red and khaki." Rico whispered, "I'm sorry." The lights above him exploded, the windows shattered, and from the shadows of aisle A1, she stepped out. Her eyes were burned black, her vest was soaked red, but she was still smiling. "Too late, Rico." Time for your shift. The next morning, when the manager came in, everything looked normal except Rico and Marcy were never found. Their name badges were on the break room table. A sticky note read, "Thank you for shopping at Target. We hope you enjoyed your eternal shift." Her body was buried, but her shift never ended. Target store. The 1116 in Temecula was quietly shut down 2 months after the incidents. No news coverage, no formal announcement, just a final overnight shift. That never ended. But this part of the story isn't about Rico or Marcy. This is about Shayna, a new overnight hire who had never heard of Lindsay Walker. She didn't know about the glitches in the camera feed, didn't know why store number 1116 had been dark for months. All she saw was a hiring post online. Now hiring overnight stalkers. 20 HR. Start immediately. No experience needed. Desperate and broke, she applied and was accepted. But no one called her, just a single email with a start time. Shift begins, 11 p.m. Doors will open for you. 10:54 p.m. Her car radio cuts out as she pulled into the empty parking lot. Her radio cut off with a hiss of static. Every other store in the complex was dark. Only Target glowed faint red. It looked wrong. The T in the sign flickered in and out, like something didn't want to be seen. Shayna felt the first chill of hesitation. But her bank account was empty, and the email had promised cash tonight. She stepped out of the car. The sliding doors opened without motion sensors. 02 p.m. She walks in alone. There was no manager, no greeter, no music. The air was too cold, the lights too dim, but the walkie on the wall chirped, "Welcome to the team, Shayna." She jumped, tried to reply. "Who is this?" No answer, only the red dot of the camera overhead blinking slowly, watching. She wandered to the back room, calling out. No one replied, but the scanner in Bay 4 turned itself on, flashed her name across the screen. "Shayna, first shift begins. Good luck. The backroom lights flickered. For a second, every box label changed to property of Lindsay Walker, then blinked back to normal. Fatiram, the cart moves on. Its own, she'd scanned maybe 50 boxes when she saw it. A U-boat cart, stacked with plush animals, rolling itself down the aisle. No motor, no slope, no explanation. It coasted quietly, stopping at aisle A1, then turned. On its own, a single teddy bear fell off. It landed face up, smiling. Its plastic voice box crackled too. Life, I'm still here. Shayna backed away. Then the store phone began to ring. Once, twice. She shouldn't have answered, but she did. The voice on the phone at first, just static. Then a young woman's voice, dry, tired. They used to call me Bubbly. Said I was always smiling, but no one noticed when I stopped, except the cameras. They always watched. Shayna whispered, "Who are you?" The voice paused. "I used to be part-time. Then I became permanent. Now I am the return no one processed." Clicked on to 1:33 a.m. She finds the room. That shouldn't exist, wandering aimlessly. Shayna turned a corner near Seasonal. Saw a door that wasn't on any map. Grey. Rusted. No sign, just a keypad, blinking green. It opened for her. Inside was a cold, narrow hallway. The walls were lined with shelves, but not with products. Name badges, all employees, all with smiley face stickers. But the stickers were drawn on with blood. At the end of the hall, a mirror, cracked, and a small TV on a cart. It turned on as she stepped near, showing footage from the break room, from earlier. Shayna saw herself walk in, except she hadn't, and sitting at the table, facing the camera, was a woman in a faded red shirt, her target vest soaked in something black. She smiled at the screen and whispered something. Shayna leaned closer. Smile for the guests. The mirror cracked deeper, and Lindsay's hand reached out from it. 45. M. She runs through the back aisles, past the dismembered mannequins, now facing her as she passed. Through the stockroom, where the boxes now breathed, inflating and exhaling, with wet, choking sounds. Over the intercom, Lindsay's voice sang softly, red and khaki, day and night. Clock in once, and hold on tight. Shayna screamed, ran for the front. The doors stayed shut. Every screen in electronics blinked on. Security footage played of people running, Rico, Marcy, others she didn't recognize. All disappeared, all vanished before the footage ended. And then Shayna appeared on the screen, trapped, screaming silently. Footage from 10 minutes in the future. AM. The final choice behind the guest services counter sat a glowing red binder. Inside, time cards, each stamped with a different employee's name and final shift time. Shayna flipped to the back. Her name had already been added. Shayna F. Start, 11:00 p.m. End. The dash blinked. Waiting. A note slid out from under the binder, typed in all caps, clock out or clock in forever. The loud walkie crackled one last time. I'll take your shift if you let me out. Trade places. You get to go. Just say yes. She paused, tears streaming, then whispered, yes. To West M. The door opens. She woke up in her car, outside the store. Engine running. Her time card was on the passenger seat. Stamped. End. 2. The store behind her looked normal again. No lights, no sign of life. But when she got home, there was a mirror in her bedroom she didn't remember owning, and inside it, sometimes she sees a young woman in red, smiling, waiting. Final note from the Temecula police report, never released to the public. Unexplained employee disappearances tied to store, Jerusalem 16. Multiple incidents of reported hallucinations, memory gaps, and unexplained footage. No physical evidence recovered. Recommendation, do not reopen. Final twist. 3 months later, a new Target store opened across town. Fresh paint, all new staff. But on the first shift, Someone found a name badge in the back room. Bent, rusted Lindsay. And the walkie crackled, "Guest services needs you. Smile for the guests. The end."